Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be going over the red 85 Corvette. We're going to be getting a list of items that is going to be needed to bring it back to daily driver status, and we're going to be going from there. We're going to be getting that list to you along with most of the costs on those if we have them available by the time the video is posted. We're going to be starting underneath, looking at the drive shaft and half shafts going out to the rear wheels and checking the universal joints on those, making sure that they're in good shape. We're also going to be taking a peek at the rear differential, looking at its fluid level, and making sure that there's no leaks on that on any of the seals. Then we're going to be moving forward to the transmission and checking out the transmission pan. And we want to check the bolts on that because we see a leak that's coming down the side of the pan, and we believe that the bolts are loose. So we're going to be tightening those up and getting those done.
After we tightened the bolts the other day, there's no leak on the transmission. So that was probably the problem. Cleaned it up.
Now we're going to move forward to the engine oil pan. We see a slight leak on that, so we're going to check the bolts to see if they're loose on that as well.
After checking the bolts and around the oil, there is no more leak around the oil pan.
Then we're going to be moving into the engine bay, and in the engine bay we're going to be checking out the radiator and the coolant lines. We're going to be checking out the power steering and the power steering lines all the way down to the power steering box.
The radiator. Oh, full. Fluid needs to be changed though. We got the overflow tank with a little overflow in it. That's good. The coolant line going into the throttle body looks good. The heater core is bypassed. The heater core needs to be replaced. We do have a heater core in stock in our parts that came with the vehicle, so that'll be taken care of. The lower heater hose looks good all the way into the engine. I don't see any leaks from that. Right up in there. I don't know if you could see in between all that. And while we're here, it looks like there might be a little bit of a leak in the power steering, but it's not dripping, so I'm wondering if this came from a previous leak that was already here, and I'll explain what I meant by previous leak in a second. Here's the power steering reservoir, and what I meant about previous leak is this top fitting was loose when I got the car. I tightened it, cleaned it all up, and it hasn't leaked since, and it's been running and being used. So I'm thinking that what we're seeing down there on the steering box and on the power steering arm is what came out of this from this loose fitting. I've topped it off already. The upper radiator hose looks good. The hose that goes from the throttle body into the engine looks good there. I believe the injectors have been replaced. These are new spark plug wires and a new distributor cap.
And we're going to be going over the serpentine belt and making sure that there's no cracks, tears, worn spots, and making sure it's in very good condition or if it needs to be replaced. I already know that there's an emissions line missing from this car. This has aftermarket valve covers, and on the passenger side, the standard valve covers had a PVC valve that went to a hose that plugged into the side of the throttle body, and that is all missing. So we're going to see if the current setup right now would affect any of the performance of the vehicle. Like I said, these are aftermarket valve covers. So the PVC valve that would be here going into a tube, going along underneath the injector harness and coming up and going into here is missing. And we're going to see if that's affecting any of the performance of the engine. And like I said, the distributor cap looks like it's been replaced. Both oil and transmission fluid are good. After we're done with that, we know we need weather stripping. You can tell by the blue tarp. That's to keep the water from seeping through the worn out weather stripping. Like I've said, all the weather stripping has to be replaced. Looks like this one was replaced, but it wasn't put on properly. It's got a gap down here. And we're going to be replacing all of those all over. And the weather stripping on the hatch, of course, that's busted there. So we got to replace that. Get that taken care of all the way around. Then we're going to be jumping onto the interior, looking over the interior and seeing what parts we're going to need to be replaced and what parts are going to need to be dyed, and getting a list of those items together for you. On the interior, in the back, the pieces of plastic that go around the edge, they so far look pretty good. They just need to be re-dyed. Yeah, original GM. And yeah, so they just need to be re-dyed. Oh, there I see. It's busted right here, right at the end. So that'll need to be either fixed or replaced. And there's clips that slide over these that are inside here. And it looks like these need to have be reattached. They look like they've come loose rather a lot. The rear piece that goes here and here looks to be in okay condition. I don't see any cracks around the screw holes. It just needs to be re-dyed. That's that. The carpet is definitely sun faded. You can tell right here between the speaker and what was under the speaker cover and outside. They definitely need to be replaced. But we're going to vacuum them and see what they look like. Unlike the 85 metallic gray one, these actually have bolts that hold the carpet in and not those hog rings that went through there. The shade comes out, goes back in, and seems to work pretty good. The lift pistons worked really well. This thing pops open as soon as you release the hatch. It pops open really nicely. Entering the interior, we need a new door panel because it's all messed up and broken. It's broken there, it's broken up here. We need new air vents, so we're gonna have to get those. We're probably gonna get the complete door panel when I order them, so the complete door panel comes with new ones. Gonna need a new door handle bezel, the whole thing, because it's broken right there and it just doesn't look that great. And oh, they do. All right. Oh, but they don't turn on. And the same with the passenger door. That's gonna need a whole new door panel, and of course you can see the broken pieces in the door handle bezel, so we're gonna need another one of that. And of course that switch also doesn't turn on when you push it. The door sill molding is gonna need to be either replaced or re-dyed. I'd have to see how deep these scratches are right here.
The padding right here, we are going to have to get a new one. It's just too far gone to be repaired. And of course, we're going to need to spray dye the side of this, the console side carpet, and get a new lid. And the carpets in the front, they could use to be replaced. All the carpets in the front. So yeah, most likely we're going to be replacing the carpets in the front as well. So on the dash, everything looks very good. There's a few little bits. Let me just get in here. We're going to need a new mirror because I don't like where it's separating there. We're going to need new visors for both sides. They're absolutely beat to crap. I have a new roof with the clear plexiglass sitting in my shop, so we're going to be replacing that with the clear one and getting rid of this solid one. I see a crack right there, but outside of that, all the console plastic looks good. He replaced the boot on the shifter. The shifter knob looks pretty good. We're gonna need a new indicator because this one's faded away so far that it just doesn't look good. So let's see what happens when we fire this up. Alright, there was a momentary where I could hear the fuel pump charging up the fuel injector rails. So I think we have a fuel leak, not a fuel leak, but somehow the pressure is disappearing. We don't have enough pressure in the fuel lines, in the fuel rails. I'll put a gauge on that and verify it. We get the hatch open, of course, door ajar. And if we come here and look down here at the gauges, as I am operating things. So we have oil pressure gauge is working. Oil temp is too low right now. The coolant temp is too low. We're putting out 14.3.4 volts. We're idling just around $1,000. And the only thing I see over on this side is there's one segment of the 7-segment display on this one that seems to be not working, but that's okay to me as a daily driver. Let's see what the lights do. And after that, we're going to be looking at the brakes across the entire vehicle, making sure that they're all in good condition, and if they have parts that need to be replaced, we're going to get a list of those together as well. The brake reservoirs do not look like to be leaking at all, but they do need to be changed. The fluid is not a nice color. It should be very clear, and it's not. And I think that's sediment down at the bottom. So we'll be flushing that out and taking care of that. Then we're going to look at the paint job of itself. There is problems with the paint job. We're going to see how far we would have to go to recover the paint on this. If we can't recover the paint, what we could do to solve the paint problem. I was wrong. We forgot to go over the paint job. So I'm going to start back here where I just closed the hatch. You see the paint bubbling right there. And chipped right there. And bubbling here along the door, along this edge. And then come over to here. You see it bubbling there, chip there, chip there. Looks like orange peel all over this thing. I'm trying not to rub it too much. Chipped and peeled right around both lights. As you can see over here too. Around both lights. And peeling and bubbling there. Not even painted there, it doesn't even look like. But yeah, it's all orange peeled. And yeah, there's a couple chips and stuff right up there. And right here on the door, it's peeling and bubbling, and it's all like dribbled down. So yeah, it definitely needs some work on the paint.
And as always, if you haven't clicked the like button, please do so. It definitely helps the channel and helps us with the YouTube algorithm that's going on right now. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, as that also helps out our channel. And as always, have a great day, and thank you for watching.